Howdy, Susan Morrow Johnson here, aka Mojo Medium. And I've just got the background up for a minute so that you can check it out because it's cool looking. I think it's so distracting the way the virtual background works. So I'm just gonna, instead of putting up my backdrop, I'm just gonna let you see my office in all its glory. Hi, again, I'm Mojo Medium. I am the Destiny Coach, and I work with women over 40 who are going, what happened to my dreams? Is this all there is? Or I don't even know who I am anymore. And I help those women find their destiny and fulfill it. And don't worry, your destiny is not some cosmic crusade. It is just exactly what you want to do and what you're meant to do. And they go together. Ooh, imagine that. Something you love. What? It can be for your job. It can be for your business. It can be for your hobby. But that's why you want to work with me. All right. So today I am launching something that's sort of like an advice column. I recently put out a survey, a one question survey, one of my favorite things to do just lately. And I'm going to read you two of the responses that I've gotten. Let's see here. Pull that up. I'm going to read you two of the responses I've gotten. And they are, I just clicked on the wrong thing. That's okay. I can read this. Okay. So one of the responses was this. Sorry. The question was, my one question was, there we go. My one question was, if you didn't feel like you had to be polite, what would you say or do differently or in addition? So that you can tell me something about in the past. Oh, if I didn't feel like I had to be polite, I would have said this in this situation. Or if I didn't feel like I had to be polite today, I would go tell that person and give them a piece of my mind. So here's what we've gotten. And this is very interesting to me, really. Here we go. One woman responded, my ex-husband never, ever laughed at my jokes. And I truly find it hard to believe that in 26 years, I never said anything funny. I laughed at his jokes, but did not even find most of them funny. I wish I had told him that. I wish I had stood up to him and told him what a bully he was. Wow. I wish you had too, hon. So here's the thing about that. Yes, even in our most intimate relationships, many of us as women, especially those of us in, let's say, over 40, over 45, we just have been trained from birth to be polite and sweet and nice at all costs, even the cost of our own sanity, as it may happen. Now, personally, I rarely lose my temper. Like, I may become angry, but I don't lose my temper. Like, I don't, you know, scream and yell and stamp my feet with the rending of garments and the gnashing of teeth to go with it. But a few years back, I did exactly that. I really let somebody have it. And I even when after I was like, fine, we'd see you in court, which is really where we were going, and started walking away. And she said, have a nice day, which was, obviously her way of being ugly, even though she said something nice. And I turned around and said, fuck off. And I never do that. I never do that. And so afterward, I was kind of like half proud of myself because she deserved it, or at least I thought she did. And I know that I didn't ruin her day. But then I was half ashamed because I was not being nice and kind and pleasant and polite. And so that was part of the reason I asked this question of you. What would you do different? What would you say differently when something comes up? Would you stand up to somebody and say what you really feel? And so this woman who said this about her ex-husband. So I want to talk to her, but also to you, because I feel like we've all been there. It may not have been about laughing at their jokes or laughing at your jokes, but in some capacity, it's like I was always pleasant to him and he just couldn't contain himself when he got angry, or, whatever it was. Or I watched that show with him. I didn't like it, but I watched it with him, and or maybe still going on, and he won't watch my shows with me, and he never wants me to watch him when he's available. So, I just have to stay up late and watch him myself. I mean, crap like that we do, and don't tell me you don't do it. So, so here's the thing for this woman who says it's her ex-husband who never laughed at her jokes. What I would recommend is consider this going forward, because obviously your past marriage doesn't need any repair because it's over. It is irrevocably broken now. And so you want to get to a place by yourself where you can say, hey, that was really funny and you have to admit it. Or, sorry, hon, that wasn't that funny. You know, you may not have hurt his feelings if you didn't laugh at his stuff. I don't know. I don't know your situation. Some husbands, some partners, some women will be like, hey, you never laugh at my jokes. And some will be like, laugh at what you think is funny. Don't laugh at what you think is funny. My dad was a comic. And when I was growing up, my mom is a great audience. She really is. She's not very good at telling jokes, but she can be funny sometimes. But she's not good at telling jokes. But she's a great audience. She appreciates humor, and she loved my dad's humor. And that was one of the things, even though they wound up getting divorced, it's one of the things that they loved about each other. He was funny and she laughed. So when my dad remarried several years after my parents' divorce, his new wife was so very different from my mom. And she just, she was actually raised to be so polite that you didn't guffaw, you know, and it hurt daddy's feelings that she didn't express fully how funny he was, because that was really big for him as a comic. He needs to get that laugh, he did. And so he told her that, how he felt about it, and asked her that if she thought it was funny, if she would please, laugh out loud. And they shared that. And it's not like that was he demanded that she laugh out loud. They talked about it, they worked on it, and they did that with everything. And I think that's probably the best advice I can give you, is to be honest with the other person. Now, obviously, if you tell a joke while you're getting your coffee at Starbucks and the barista doesn't laugh, whatever, we don't care, right? It's kind of like if the guy at 7-Eleven gave you advice, or said, hey, your hair looks terrible. You're like, whatever. Who are you? Yeah. Okay, maybe not, but we'll come back to that some other time. Okay. So the point is, you've got to be honest in those situations. Even though you have to be nice and polite, you can actually do that in a polite way. You can approach it in a pleasant, non-confrontational way. And when it's in an intimate relationship, whether that's a husband or a partner or a family member or best friend, you can say, you know what? I have to tell you something. My feelings are kind of hurt because XYZ. That's perfectly acceptable. And if it's not acceptable with that person, if they fly off the handle, if they're not, created to be polite in every way, then that's another thing to bring up. And it may come to the point where it's untenable. I'm not a therapist. I don't pretend to be one. But that seems like communication stuff to me. And it's entirely possible that a person who won't take that kind of rational conversation and accept that as being a way to communicate, they may be able to learn. A lot of people, men especially, just never really learned to communicate well. Communication is a divine feminine trait, quality. So that's something for that. Okay. One other lady that I wanted to share with you. Where did I put it? Here it is. The other one said, I'm tired of going through all these trials. I want a true man who doesn't cheat. Why can't I find him? Wow. Wow. So apparently everybody you've ever been with has been a cheater, and you consider them not to be true men because of this. I can't fault you for that. I will not disagree with you. Cheaters suck. I'm so, I don't know. I guess I was raised pretty sheltered, and extramarital affairs or extra boyfriend girlfriend affairs always shock me, well, maybe not anymore, but until I got old. I mean, I'd find out somebody was having an affair in the office. I was like, what? No, yeah, no, that's not true. Yes, I saw such and such. You know, I found out a teacher that I had in high school was carrying on an affair with another teacher for like 20 years or something. Yeah, he was married, she wasn't. I was like, what? People are screwing each other and they're not married to each other. Not that I believe, not that I believe you have to wait for marriage, but just like they're married to other people and they're screwing each other. Oh my God, it's fairly common, unfortunately. So back to the issue with you can only find cheaters. So there are a couple of things there. Yes, a lot of men are cheaters. And some people will say, well, if so many men are cheaters, who are they cheating with? The women cheat too, just as much. But that's not true. A lot of married men cheat with single women. So that's what that is. However, it is on a single woman not to date a married man. That's not part of my values. I don't. The only married men I fool around with are the ones who are married to me. That's my rule. And who knows? I mean, I'm 60 years old. I might change my mind in 10 years. You just don't know. Check back with me. All right. So I want to talk about finding men who aren't cheaters. Start with you and your expectations. When you've been burned a lot like that, when it seems like every relationship you've had, he cheated on you, or even if it's just one time, that can really make you think that there is no other way, that that's what you're going to get. And why can't you find a true man who doesn't cheat? So you have to start with you. You have to start with yourself on several things. First of all, worthiness, because that's at the bottom. I don't know if you know this, but as your destiny coach, your feeling, your sense of being worthy of having what you want, love, and enjoy, or the lack thereof, is at the root of everything in your life. So if you have a great dog, you feel worthy of having that great dog. Now, you don't think about it. You don't think, oh, I'm going around going, I feel worthy. I have a great dog. I feel worthy. You just have your dog and she's amazing, right? But you can use that feeling and that energy if you tap into it and you think about how I feel about having this dog. She's better than I expected. She's better than I hoped for. She's the best dog ever. And that means that you feel worthy of having her. However, you look at your boyfriend, he's a cheater, he's a cad, he's a brigand. I don't even know what that means. You don't feel worthy of him being the best boyfriend ever. So you've got to tap into that sense of worthiness. You are worthy. I'm not saying that you're not. You are totally worthy of having everything that you want, love, and enjoy. You are worthy. You're born that way because the soul within you is a piece of the divine, and the divine is worthy in its nature. Okay. So you start with that feeling of worthiness. It's especially hard when you have been burned, as I mentioned, because you're already like, well, this is all that's out there. And that is creating a lack of a feeling of being worthy of a good guy. Does that make sense? So how do you do that? Well, start with my simplest version and just do your worthies, say your worthies at bedtime as you are going to sleep, after you've turned out the light, put down the phone, and snuggled up with your dog. And when you close your eyes, then you say, I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy of love, joy, and abundance. I am worthy of being, doing, and having what I want, love, and enjoy. All that I want, love, and enjoy. And you can say, I am worthy of, we already said love, joy, and abundance. I am worthy of a faithful partner. I'm worthy of my partner being faithful to me. And he is worthy of me being faithful to him. Mm, yeah. All right. Okay. So what should I call my advice column? What should I call it? The woo-woo world of words. You tell me. And in the meantime, check out mojomedium.com to see what else this Destiny Coach can do for you. Until then, I will talk to you soon, and you are worthy.